Kangana Ranaut's film Emergency is currently in a state of limbo. On the 8th of July, Manikarnika Films submitted an application to the Central Board for Film Certification. They claim that they got an email on the 14th of August saying that the CBFC certificate had come through and that the movie was successfully sealed, requested the producers to collect the certificate, but they claim when they went there, the same was not given. So nobody really knows what's going on. But buzz seems to be that this film has been indefinitely postponed, potentially till after the Haryana elections, because they don't want a law and order situation in Delhi, Punjab and Haryana and elsewhere, wherever it could happen. Is this fair? Kangana Ranaut is crying foul. She says, "Meri film emergency pe emergency lag gayi hai." And this is really a battle between freedom of expression on the one side and the right to offend, or the concern that people could get offended and that it could lead to a law and order situation. To talk about this, I'm joined on the broadcast by Professor Anant Ranganathan, author, consulting editor at Swarajya. We have with us Sanjay Jha, political analyst and commentator. Kiranjot Kaur is a member of the Shiromani Gurdwara Prabandhak Committee. We've got Advaita Khala, well-known screenwriter and author, and Andrea D'Souza is the General Secretary of the All India Cine Workers Association. And I want to start by getting you to talk about whether you think, in light of the concern that there could be a law and order problem, in light of the concern that there are elections in Haryana, and that Sikh bodies have taken a very strong position, that if the film were to be released now, passions could get surcharged, there could be trouble out on the streets, and therefore the CBFC in its wisdom has decided it's better to push the film back. Do you think that's the right call, or do you think it's a completely wrong call that with whatever cuts are required, the film should be given a censor certificate and allowed to release?
Good evening, Rahul, and good evening to my fellow panelists. The easiest excuse that has been used since independence for censoring and banning films and books is that potentially it's going to create a law and order situation. That's the easiest rationalization with every political party. And look, there are three issues here, and I want to delve in each one of them because all of them are important. Number one, because you asked, Rahul, on censorship. As a free speech absolutist, my stand is well known. I am against any kind of censorship. The job of the CBFC is to give certification to films based on their content, A, U or U/A, not to demand cuts or censor. To censor any film, book, play, show is a disgrace. Now, two, why do I say this? Rahul, because censoring or curbing freedom of expression is always a subjective decision. Always. Look, we are a deeply polarized society. This isn't objectionable per se, because polarization means you have a clash of ideas, that there is competition among them, and so it mirrors Darwinian evolution. Science, religion, capitalism, communism, right wing, left wing, Modi, Rahul. There's nothing wrong in professing diametrically opposite likes and dislikes and views, even if you hold entrenched views. But the problem comes when one party, one ideology, one dogma, one film board, one system controls the discourse or weighs in on it. That's when you stop being objective and start to editorialize and play God. Because selecting what to flag, what not to is a subjective decision, much like taking offense or an abuse or appreciating or condemning an idea. What is offensive to you might not be offensive to me. Who is to decide what will cause offense, what will offend religious sensibilities, what is pornographic? Let me give you one example very quickly. Say there's a film, Rahul, made tomorrow that simply has a man reciting verses. These verses are, polytheists, i.e. Hindus, are the worst of creatures, 98.6. Do not marry polytheist women unless they convert to 221. Do not take disbelievers as friends unless they convert, and kill them if they refuse, 489. Now these are verbatim quotes, no interpretations or contextual. So tell me, should the CBFT decide all this talk of killing and enslaving those who don't convert to Islam is hateful and censor this film? This country will blow up if that happens. And finally, just a minute, because this is important. The Congress, honestly, they've got some gal condemning censorship. They have censored dozens, perhaps hundreds of films. I recently mentioned a few, Andhi and Kissa Kursi Ka, but because they retort very quickly that those are historical bans, let me today only list the bans and censorships done by the Congress in the last 15 years, when it was in power at the center and in the states. Congress demanded, Rahul, cuts of all intimate scenes between Nehru and Edwina, played by Hugh Grant and Kate Blanchett, in the film Indian Summer. The film got shelved. Congress banned the film No Fire Zone. It filed a police complaint against Netflix for referring to Rajiv Gandhi as FATTU. Film GANDU was banned. Inshallah Football was banned. Banned Abol Palekar's Thang. Banned Sakharam Bhinder. Demanded a ban on Padmavati. Denied certificate to Papilo Putta. Banned Nakilo Innocence of Muslims. Demanded a ban on Dam Maro Dam. Nishabd. Kya super cool hai hum. Banned Sikh Sacred Wound of Christ. Da Vinci Code was banned. Demanded cuts in Rajniti. Arakshan was banned. Amu was banned. Tango Charlie was banned. Demanded a ban on Namo Sune Gamo. Arjun Reddy. Demanded a ban on the song Bharat Mata from Shanghai. Demanded a ban on Rang De Basanti. Passed only after minister said yes. Demanded a ban on film Hindu Sarkar. Banned Adhan Had. Demanded a ban on Hey Ram Nathuram. Kaum De Hire 1984 genocide was banned. Sata Haq was banned. Hawaii on 1984 genocide was banned. All this in the last 15 years. And they are the ones crying hoarse now.
Sanjay Jha, many Congress state governments have come out and said they will not let emergency release in their states. Now, given the position that had been taken by many in the Congress ecosystem around IC 814 just a couple of days ago, where they were arguing that, what's wrong with showing those two terrorists as Bola and Shankar, that's the reality. Now, I haven't seen Emergency, none of us have, we've only seen the trailer, but a lot of this is based on what happened and Kangana's interpretation of it. Why should it not be allowed to release? If you don't want to watch it, that's fine, we respect that. Those who want to go and watch it should be allowed to do so. Then why seek this ban?
Absolutely, Rahul, I completely agree with you. I feel that when we do bans, we basically underestimate the wisdom or the maturity of the people of our country. I think we insult the collective intelligence and the conscience of the people of India. I think they are smart enough, by the way, to distinguish or demarcate between the wheat and the chaff. Let me give you a couple of examples. I had your previous gentleman, Dr. Ranganathan, spent a lot of time on this standard rhetoric in breathless energy, but he forgot to tell the viewers the truth that all of us should confront. Number one, the actor in this film happens to be an elected member of parliament from the ruling party, and the entity which is being blamed for not giving the clearance for release happens to be the censor board appointed by the government, right? Where they normally have hardly any neutral people, but people who are very pro, shall we say, the government in terms of ideological thinking. So if anybody has a problem on free speech, ask Mr. Modi. If the actor concerned has a problem with the film not being released, go to your own government, go to your own political party. Congress is, I think, totally incidental in this entire conversation, Rahul, for the simple reason that the people who are really protesting, and I haven't seen the film, frankly, I haven't even seen the trailer, but I can tell you this for a fact, that they are saying that our sentiments have been hurt, and, everyone in a democracy has a absolute legitimate right to protest, but we have seen this happening from the right wing repeatedly on everything under the sun. So here is my point. I respect the people of India. I believe that the film Emergency, good, bad, whatever it is, should be released. And I'll give you two examples why I feel the people of India are far more intelligent than we give them credit for. There are two actors who have been very pro the establishment. And I have read reports that their last 15 to 20 films haven't even survived 3 days at the box office. It tells you that people are, you can fool some of the people all the time, all the people some of the time, but you can't fool all the people all the time.
Okay.
And I am absolutely in agreement with Dr. Ranganathan on one aspect. There should be free speech, of course, as long as there's no distortion of truth and an attempt to polarize society by disinformation or deliberate misinformation.
Kiran Jyotkar, why is the SGPC and so many Sikh bodies demanding a ban on the film? Is it not better to say, we don't watch it, we don't want our supporters to watch it, but if somebody else wants to go watch it, it's really up to them to decide. You can't enforce your view on others.
Oh, that is correct. Everybody has the choice whether they want to watch the film or not. But the point is, when you close your eyes, you cannot run away from the truth. From the trailer that we have seen a person like Pindrawala, Sant Pindrawala, who is given this dialogue that you are seeking votes and we are seeking Khalistan. Now, that is a narrative that is totally false, because in 1975, Pindrawala was nowhere on the scene. He came in later. And also, I have a...
No, but you don't know whether this
here.
is of 75. Maybe it's from later. Ma'am, with respect, you don't know if that scene in the trailer around someone who looks like Bhindrewala is from 1975. It could be from later. You don't know the timeline. You haven't seen the film. So you're objecting without nearly knowing what you're objecting about.
No, we are objecting after watching the trailer, because in the trailer...
No, but you're saying he wasn't there in 75. I'm saying you don't know if it's about 75. It could be of a later time.
So, if
can I interject 5 seconds, please?
If it is about emergency, I think what needed to be shown was that Akali Dal was the first political party to object to emergency, and actually they had a morcha, they started a morcha from Amritsar in 1975.
No, that's true, but this is not an Akali propaganda film. If the Akalis want to make a film of their own, or the SGPC wants to make a film of its own, they can make their own film. You can't tell Kangana Ranaut what kind of a film she should be making and what she should show in that film. Professor Ranganath, give me a moment. I'm coming to you.
You can definitely challenge when she is trying to polarize the society on basis of her interpretation of facts. Because when a film like this is made, which is based on historical facts, then the research needs to be right. Then you
Ma'am, but you haven't seen the film. Kiran Joji, you haven't seen the film. How do you know the research isn't good?
The film.
Ma'am, with respect, you haven't seen the film. How do you know the research isn't good? Maybe it's a good film, maybe it's a bad film. I don't know. I haven't seen it. Neither have you. You're saying the research isn't good. You don't know. And you don't know if that dialogue is from 75. From what I know, it's a bit about the emergency and then it flits into the 80s. So it's across time. It's not about 75.
No, I haven't seen the film, but I have seen the trailer. So in the trailer, when they are showing something like this, then obviously they are trying to make a film not on emergency, but something else.
Professor Ranganathan wants to make a quick counter.
Clear about what she's trying to say.
Anand Ranganathan.
What we see in the film is setting a narrative that will polarize the society further, and you know how it is going right now. So why add fuel to the
Professor
fire?
Ranganathan, quick counter.
Yes, Rahul, talking of polarizing of societies, I am absolutely appalled. On this show, the lady before me has just addressed Bhindrawale as Sant Bhindrawale. I have a very simple question to ask her. I have a very simple question to ask you. Yes, ma'am. Do you believe Bhindrawale and Satwant Singh, the man who gunned down Indira Gandhi, were they terrorists? Yes or no? If you have the guts, answer it. Were they terrorists?
This question, because I'm not getting into this. The point is about emergency, and let us talk about emergency.
Why are you scared to answer that question? Don't be scared. If you are truthful, you will answer it. Whatever your conviction.
Definitely it's not scared.
Then why aren't you answering it? Was Satwant Singh a terrorist? He gunned down Indira Gandhi. Was he a terrorist or not?
No, he was not a terrorist.
Then what was he?
There we go, Rahul.
Was Mrs. Gandhi not a terrorist for laying siege to Darbar Sahib, Golden Temple, and not just Darbar Sahib? 37 other historical gurdwaras in Punjab at the same time. Why?
This is shocking. This is shocking on this national television.
Let us not talk about things that you don't know about, and let us stick to the topic of emergency.
Advaita Kala, Sanjay Jha's argument is, the Congress and the others are getting a bad name for no reason. This is a BJP MP, it's her production, it's her directorial debut. The CBFC is largely staffed by people who have some kind of proclivity with the ruling dispensation, and therefore, if the certification's been held up, it's really for the CBFC and the Modi government to answer for. Why involve the opposition in this? Why do you think the certification is held up? Is it fair?
I think Sanjay Jha is right. I mean, the Congress really has no part to play in this for once. Although everyone knows when Hindu Sarkar was released, they pretty much held Madhur Bhandarkar hostage. If you recall those dramatic live visuals when he was not able to exit his hotel room or his hotel or the lobby or something of that sort, very filmy. So, basically, it really doesn't matter. My point as a creative person, as someone who writes for cinema and OTT, is that why these, double standards? On OTT, you can just release anything you want with any narrative and go ahead with it. But when it comes to cinema, there is all this certification and censorship and all of those things when their mediums are pretty much similar. And if there is a once rule for one, then there should be a rule for another. And I think the exact juxtaposition is IC 814 vis-a-vis what is happening with emergency. Now, emergency is going through the process as it should. In fact, I would compliment the BJP government and the censor board that despite Kangana being a member of their party, they've not shown any favor. So that, in a sense, is a good thing. That means she is approaching them as a film professional and is being dealt with in that manner where she's having to go through this process, which I'm sure is terrible for her. A film being delayed is a huge thing. But at least she's not getting any special favors.
Sanjay wants to make a quick comment because it's true, she's a BJP MP. Far from getting any special favors, she's actually having to go through the process and her film's held up, money is stuck, and this is a BJP MP, so the rule is being applied equally to all.
Rahul, let me tell you very quickly, Advaita is trying to make a virtue out of a necessity, and I can understand she supports the right-wing BJP. There's no problem with that. I really feel the real reason why the BJP is stalling this. I can tell you the Modi government is probably stalling this because there are Haryana elections down the corner. The farmers are extremely upset. Punjab and Haryana are contiguous states, and there will be serious political and collateral damage for the BJP. Don't be surprised if it's a political party at the center that has given signals to the censor board to say, delay the film, release it after the elections are over. Don't be surprised with that.
Okay. I want to go across to Andrea D'Souza from the Cine Workers Association. Andrea, do you think Kangana Ranaut is being treated unfairly when her certification from the censor board is held up? Shouldn't it just be allowed to come out? And those who want to watch. Those who want to boycott or stay home, stay home. Don't enforce your view on others.
Okay. Good evening to everybody on the panel, and good evening to you, Rahul. Firstly, I am not a political person to give or political answers. All I can say on behalf of the cinema that censor board has some guidelines. So if she has not passed the guidelines, obviously she has been, there is a ban put up there. See, there were many propaganda films that have come in these eras. That is Kerala Story, you have Kashmir Files, you have many stories which have come. But I don't think censor board had actually put a ban on them, or they've not done anything as such. What has happened with emergency? Reason why? Because probably censor board has seen something distorting, something which is not related.
No, but it's pretty bizarre what happened on the 8th of July. They apply for a certificate to the CBFC. The board writes to the co-producer that the film was suitable for unrestricted public exhibition, and a UA certificate was granted, subject to modifications being carried out. On the 14th, they, the movie is submitted with modifications and cuts, and then they get a certificate saying that the film has been given a CBFC certificate, that they should come and collect the certificate, and then the same is not handed over. So the CBFC is also not acting in a kosher fashion.
Then I think, exactly what Sanjay Jha just said just few minutes back, probably it is the exactly same reason why.
Professor Ranganathan, the argument that Sanjay Jha and Indria make is that this is a BJP government, the CBFC is appointed by them, and therefore if they've taken a decision, this is something the BJP is looking into. It's not something that the opposition has anything to do with. Is it linked potentially to the Haryana elections, 4.9% Sikhs in the state of Haryana?
I absolutely agree with Sanjay on this. It is the cowardly act of the BJP government, and they are worried about the elections, and that is the reason why. But a slight disagreement, in fact, couple of disagreements with my previous panelists, who's very erudite. Number one, it's not a censor board. Its job is not to censor, although it has become a censor board. Its job is just to give a certificate, depending upon whether the film is A, U, or A/U. And secondly, with due respect, Kerala Story and the Kashmir Files was not a propaganda films, as you said. Those were narrating real incidents of Kashmiri genocide that happened in 1990. To say it was propaganda is to disrespect what happened to Kashmiri Hindus. You might not be Kashmiri Hindu, you might not have been displaced for 30 years hunting for your job, but others have. So let's respect that. Let us respect that.
Can we not do Hindu-Muslim out here right now? We're not doing a Hindu-Muslim debate out here. Can you not do that again? Can we stop doing this?
Hindu-Muslim? Why are you denying a genocide? Are you going to deny Holocaust as well? Is that your ignorance?
Nobody's
So
denying
please
the
don't do.
genocide. Nobody's denying the genocide. What is now you want to make it political? I'll make it political for what has Zee Studios done for the genocide?
Are you calling it a propaganda film?
What have you done?
You have to. You just called it a propaganda film. The deaths of Kashmiri Hindus are propaganda film for you.
It was a propaganda. Please do not deny that. These films are all propaganda films. Now people are
no, ma'am, but it was based on. I mean,
propaganda. No,
it was based on events that happened in Kashmir at that time. I don't understand what is, because if, for example, IC 814 is made.
Fought alive is propaganda for this lady. BK Ganju was shot, was propaganda for this lady. This is the problem in this country. You have censor board which is concocting something, denying the right history to be shown, and then you have this generation, I don't know whether it is Generation Seki or Gen Z or whatever, coming out wholly ignorant of our history. It's a tragedy, Rahul.
Sanjay Jha wants to make a quick counter. Sanjay, you know, if films like Kerala Files can go through, Kashmir Files can go through, then why not Emergency? Let those who want to watch, watch. Let those who want to not watch, not watch.
Oh, let me tell you that, you know, I think as a country, and you're a veteran political journalist and an editor for a long time, we should become more transparent about everything that has happened in India's politics because it matters to people. I agree with you that Kashmir Files, there may have been some exaggerated claims. It was based on a very, very serious issue of Hindu Kashmiri Pandit migration. No harm in doing a film. I haven't seen the film. I don't agree with many things Agnihotri says or does. But I have no criticism about the film getting a public, it even became a box office success. But also remember, the same people rejected many movies at the beginning of this year on Article 370, Godra, etc., Savarkar. They never found.
No, but that's the whole point, Kiran Jotkar. There are so many of these films that have come and gone without registering at the box office. Leave it to the wisdom of the Indian viewer, the Indian voter. Let him decide. If he thinks it's a good film, he'll watch it. Like the Kashmir Files got good acclaim and good box office collections. And if he thinks it's a bad film, like so many, some of which were named by Sanjay Jha, he won't watch it. You can't push propaganda.
Precisely. You should not push propaganda. And what this film Emergency is doing is pushing a propaganda.
No, but you haven't seen the film, ma'am. You've reached very firm conclusions on the basis of a trailer, and you haven't seen the film, so you have no idea what you're venting about.
Then why am I invited to this talk show, and why are we discussing it if we don't know what the film is about?
Because I'm saying that the film should be allowed to release, and those who want to watch it should be allowed to watch it. It's people like you who are opposing it.
Yes, then listen to us, why we are opposing it. We have a point of view. See, Emergency is the starting point of what happened in the 80s. And you cannot say that this Khalistan narrative that is being brought up in this film, it was not started at that point of time. So what I'm saying is that this film should have been based on some research on not just one point of view, but on the right perspective and impartial perspective, because when a film is seen, it is seen by millions of people, and when it is against a small minority community, you need to be careful that their point of view is also listened to.
Anand Ranganathan is concerned that it villainizes the Sikh community.
On the basis of some propaganda. And this movie is, from the trailers and from the scenes that we see, it's more like a propaganda film.
That it villainizes the Sikh community. Professor Ranganathan.
Why not let the censor board decide, and why not the people who are objecting to it be called to the table and talk it out?
Professor Ranganathan.
Rahul, I have a very simple question to ask you. I already know the answer. Are you going to censor this particular show? Are you going to edit it?
No, absolutely not.
Correct. So on this, yes. So this is the greatest exemplar, because on this show, on live television, you have a lady saying that Indira Gandhi was a terrorist and the men who gunned her down, Satwant Singh, was not a terrorist. And you are showing it on to everyone in India without censoring it. The same lady wants things censored. Can you believe this? The irony just jumped out of a ledge.
When you object to a person obviously you will get a response to that. Do you know what happened in the 80s? We have lived through that.
Stop being
And do you
patronizing.
know how our
I know
families
more
were
than you
impacted?
what happened in the
We
80s.
lived through that. So
I
don't
also
get
lived through that.
into these
Stop
things
patronizing.
and don't bring up things
You're not
which
a
do
repository
not
of
matter in
all
this
you
particular
know is
debate.
false propaganda
They
history.
are not
You're not a
relevant.
repository of
When
what
you
happened.
bring up a narrative
You
that
need to
has
read more,
already
madam.
been a source of
And
problem
stop calling
for
our
the
Prime
country,
Minister
be
terrorist.
very careful about how you are handling it. You cannot
Stop
label
calling
people.
our
You
Prime
cannot
Ministers
talk,
terrorists.
tell that so and so is an extremist, so and so is the terrorist. Why?
Stop calling
That's
our
wrong.
Prime Ministers terrorists.
You think
Stop calling
the Sikh
our Prime
community
Ministers
has not
terrorists.
been wronged? You think the Sikh
Should be
community has
ashamed
not been
of
wronged?
calling Mrs. Indira
What
Gandhi a
happened in
terrorist.
1984? Was it not terrorism?
Stop calling Indira Gandhi a terrorist and stop vilifying Indira Gandhi and stop valorizing the people who killed her. That's the first lesson in history you should get.
Oh, really? I don't
And you're
need
not
this history.
censored. Nobody is censoring you.
This is absolutely
I've heard your
wrong
egregious
to
speech.
get into personal
You are the one who wants censoring.
attacks on a person who is no longer on the scene. And if you read books that are coming out right now, you will know whose creation was Sant Pindrawala.
Not a historical
So
debate.
history,
Listen, I just want
read
to,
your
Advaita
history
Kala, I just want
before
to
you
draw
call somebody
attention
a
back to what's at play. This is not a documentary, it's not a historical account, it's a film, it's an adaptation. She's got her take on it. She's a BJP MP, naturally she has a point of view and she's representing that. Should she not be allowed to show it the way she wants? Why is everyone trying to foist? Why isn't this shown about the Akalis? Why isn't that shown about the Shiromani Gurdwara Prabandhak Committee? I mean, let her make the film she wants. And if you don't want to watch it, don't watch it.
Definitely. I mean, but the thing is, the Sikh community and Kangana have had a very contentious back and forth going on for a while. So I think, we're skirting around this. I think essentially it's really a problem between the community and Kangana. There's a trust deficit there, and hence these reactions are coming forward. It's not like, this issue has not been shown on cinema before. It's not been written about in books. Bhindranwale has not been discussed. All of this has happened. Khalistan has also been discussed. But the problem here, I think, is that it's personal. I don't necessarily think it's about the film. If it was someone else who had made this film, I don't think the Sikh community would have responded like this. It's because it's gotten personal with Kangana that you're seeing all of this. And there is that can be understood, but it still doesn't make it fair. The film has to stand on its own merit. And we go through, again, I repeat, Sanjay seems to think I'm covering for the government, but I'm really not. I feel that, there is a process in place. We are not that mature an audience, as much as I would like to second free speech absolutist, my friend Anand. But we're not. We do react. We do have violence that occurs when these things happen.
Okay. Yeah. Anand Ranganathan, you want to respond to this real concern that there could be violence? We've seen it in the past. We've seen what's happened in Punjab. We know the situation with the farmers. We know what's happening at Shambu border and elsewhere. That there could be a real flare-up, and that's what's probably holding the government back.
As I said, the easiest justification for banning anything is that it will provoke violence. And this, we've seen it from the days of Nehru, when Nehru brought in the First Amendment to Constitution. It's based on this principle. Well, if violence happens, then what is the state doing? It is the responsibility of the state. Because if the state were to judge, then it's going to ban any book, any film that it likes.
Okay.
On the pretext it's going to provoke violence.
Okay, I'm out of time on this debate. I want to thank our guests for joining us. We've heard different points of view. As always on the Newstrack, I don't tell you what to think. I don't pick a side. You've heard perspectives from different spectrums, and you make up your own mind. Would you like to see the film Emergency get released with a censor certificate? Is it right to hold it back? You form your own view after listening to all our guests. You're on board the Newstrack. Uttar Pradesh's Bahreach continues to be terrorized by wolves. Experts say these wolf attacks could be revenge attacks, as wolves have a tendency to seek revenge if their homes or cubs are harmed. At least 10 people have been killed so far and several injured. Uttar Pradesh's government's Operation Bhediya is still on, hunting for 2 wolves who are still out on the loose.
In the dead of the night, UP's man-eater wolves venture out from the shadows of the forest. Prowling through the villages of Bahraich, hunting for their next victim. The wolf menace has left several families devastated in Bahraich. But what has led to the pack wolves to enter human territory? Experts have warned of revenge killing.
कई बार प्रतिशोधात्मक भी होता है उनकी तरफ से कि यदि आदमी ने उनके साथ दुर्व्यवहार किया है या उनके बच्चों को मार दिया है तो वो कोशिश करते हैं कई बार जो है रिटेलिएट करते हैं. अदरवाइज बहुत ही जेंटल और डोसाइल किस्म का जो है शर्मिला किस्म का जानवर होता.
Wolves are unlikely to enter human settlements unless their habitat is encroached upon.
एक चीज ये है कि जैसे उनका हैबिटेट का लॉस जो सबसे बड़ा फैक्टर होता, मान लिया वो अपने हैबिटेट तक नहीं आ रहा. जैसे आपका क्षेत्र जो है हमेशा ये डूब क्षेत्र रहा है और वो डूब क्षेत्र के आसपास ही जो ऊंचे स्थल होते हैं उनमें रहते हैं. जैसे आपके तराई के जो क्षेत्र हैं इनमें इनकी संख्या देखी गई है और उनमें मान लिया पानी भर जाए वैसी दशा में उनको वापस जाना पड़ता है, बार बार लौट के आते हैं. उसमें कई बार चांस इनकाउंटर हो जाता है. कई बार जानवरों का उनका कोई नियत नहीं होती कि हमें मारना है, लेकिन चांस इनकाउंटर होने से वो मतलब जो है एक बार जैसे उनको लगा कि ये इजी प्रे है तो इजी प्रे के कारण जो है फिर नेक्स्ट टाइम हो सकता है कि वो चांस ले ले.
UP government's Operation Bheria has led to the capture of 4 wolves, but more and more are still on the prowl, hunting and haunting. Villagers have been asked to take safety into their own hands.
जो लोगों से आग्रह करना चाहूँगा कि वो मतलब अपने दरवाजे जो हैं बंद रखें, यदि नहीं रखें तो कम से कम पहरेदारी कर लें. और यदि बहुत अपरिहार्य स्थिति उत्पन्न होती है वैसे केस में बच्चों को अपने साथ बांध के रखें, सोते टाइम उनको अकेले न छोड़ें.
But are the ropes, bricks and walls enough to keep the predatory wolves at bay? Villagers shudder as the sun sets over Bahraich, praying and hoping there is no intruder at their door in the dead of the night. With Samarth Srivastava, Bureau Report, India Today.
Our correspondent Samarth Srivastava spent a night with villagers in Bahraich to try and understand the level of fear psychosis that had crept in with these wolves out on the loose. Here is his report.
As the terror of wolves is on in Bahraich, but the bigger question is why have they become man-eaters? Why are they targeting the humans? As per the villagers, they never targeted humans in the past years. But as per the Forest Department of UP, wolves have the tendency to take revenge, and that could also be another theory why the wolves in Bahraich are attacking humans and have killed 10 persons so far. We are at the Nanpurwa village of Bahraich. As you see the visuals right here, this is a place where the habitual place of those attacking wolves is nearby, hardly 2 kilometers, and that has been flooded with the flood water. But also there is another theory that some villagers might have in a way collapsed their habitual place, and in that particular thing their child or one of the wolves could have been killed, and that's why they are taking revenge. And you can clearly see the footmarks of those attacking wolves which came here in the late night in the Bahraich village, and clearly see how they freely roamed around this particular village in the night hours. While at one hand press conferences are happening, ministers are coming claiming to catch the wolves, but this clearly shows, these footmarks clearly shows how these wolves, the attacking wolves, are still roaming free in these particular villages, and that's a big question. Also, some villagers right here claimed they have seen and when they in a way flashed the light of the torch at that particular wolf, it ran away from that place. From this place, their habitual place is hardly 2 kilometers. That raises one question: what actually happened to those wolves and why they have started targeting the humans? क्या हुआ था?
रात में वही 9 बज रहा था, यहाँ दुकान के पास से गुजरा, फिर अंदर गया तो वहाँ शोर मचाया, लोग मतलब रपटाए. तो
दुकान के पास से किधर से गुजरा?
इधर से सर.
इधर से?
जी. और वही रात में 9 बज रहा था. फिर गांव में घुस गया तो वहाँ बकरी उकरी थी, तो वहाँ बकरी को मतलब ये कम नोचने वोचने लगा। उसके बाद गांव के सब लोग थे वहाँ रपटाने लगे।
यहीं पर पास में उसकी मांद भी बनी है?
नहीं, वो चाहलारी घाट में, मतलब उधर है रेत में। जी जी सर।
तो अब है नहीं है?
पता नहीं कट गई कि है, ये नहीं पता।
कहानी निकल के सामने आ रही है कि भेड़िए में बदला लेने की टेंडेंसी होती है। आप गांव वाले कैसे देखते हैं इसको? क्या उसके साथ आप क्या मानते हैं?
बदला तो कोई भी लेना सोचता है ना अपने, तो वो लोग भी सोच रहे होंगे ना बदला लेने के लिए। अब 2 महीना पहले हमारे बच्चे को पकड़ के लेके आया था, यहाँ हम लोग छीने थे।
अच्छा, भेड़िया आपके बच्चे को उठा गया?
बच्चा सलामत है, जिंदा है।
कहाँ चोट आई?
उसके यहाँ कमर में और गर्दन में दांत वात उसके लग गए थे। फिर उसकी दवा पानी कराया, अभी जिंदा है।
जुताई कर रहे हैं आप खेत की, आपको पता नहीं है और पीछे गलती से।
जैसे आज जंगल इलाका है तो गाड़ी तो चलती ही है, गाड़ी चलती है तो रात होती है तो जुताई, जब जुताई की समय होती है तो जुताई होती है, मतलब बराबर जुताई होती है। लाइट में कहीं चक्का तेरे भाट पड़ी, पलटा का चल रहा है, हर भाट पड़ी नहीं, इनका आदमी पड़ा उठा पड़ा है, हो सकता है कोई भी खतरा हो सकता है।
उसके जद में मांद के नीचे उसका बच्चा भी हो सकता है।
हो सकता है।
Why these wolves became man-eaters? To find the truth, we are India Today TV is on the ground to find the ground reality, and we are near and at the most dangerous place of Bahraich, where there is 190% possibility of man-eater wolves to be present, and we are moving to the habitat place of those wolves to find out what actually happened to the wolves or their habitat that they began attacking the animals, because they were here for years but never attacked the humans. Then what led these wolves to attack the humans and make their prey? Come with me and find the truth on India Today TV. यही रिपोर्टिंग है, यही रिपोर्टिंग। To find the truth why the wolves became man-eaters, we have reached at the ground zero where their habitual place is, the most dangerous place of Bahraich right now, because this is the place from where the wolves started hunting down the humans. And the place, you can clearly see how difficult it is for us to stand here. Even there are different insects, dangerous insects in a way biting our legs, but we are here on the ground to show you the ground reality. You can clearly see a sugarcane, proper lush green area where there is hardly, very difficult to move around at one place to another, but the habitual place is right next to me, and the next visual cameraman Neeraj will show you from here will be the place where those man-eater wolves were present, used to stay. And this was this is the place which is currently destroyed with the flood water. As you can clearly see, this stick is going deep inside, deeper inside. That clearly tells the story how badly their home place is collapsed, damaged, and due to flood water especially. And that's why that could be one reason why the wolves became irritated and started hunting down the animals, attacking the humans. So that's a bigger thing. Another logic here comes that with this flow of water, there could be a scene where the children of those wolves would have been killed or severely injured with this water. That could also another reason why the wolves are taking revenge from the farmers, from the villagers, especially their kids, targeting them from this place, because they have no place to stay now with this place completely damaged. Now they are moving to the villages, attacking the humans. आप लोगों ने यहाँ पर क्या कुछ देखा है? पहले
सर मैंने देखा जब गन्ने में सिंचाई कर रहे थे, जब पानी इस खेत में हम लोग डाले तो इनके घर में पानी चला गया, फिर उसमें से बहुत सारे बच्चे निकल कर भागे, हम लोग सारे लोग देखे मिले।
आपने भागते हुए देखा?
जी सर।
खेत में खेलते देखा है, छोटे-छोटे बच्चे, इतने तो छोटे-छोटे बच्चे चौड़ा कितने इसमें से निकले और खेतों में मतलब पानी भर गया इनके घर में, तो ऐसे पूरे खेत में कूदने लगे। हाँ, मतलब छोटे-छोटे देखे थे।
लोगों पे हमला नहीं करते?
नहीं, वो छोटे से थे, छोटे बच्चे। उनके मतलब जो बड़े वाले थे वो थे नहीं इसमें, छोटे पानी जब भरा तब निकले इसमें से और खेत में मतलब ऐसे कूदने लगे पूरे खेत में। इतना गन्ना था, छोटा सा था तब की बात।
उसके बाद फिर क्या हुआ?
अब इसके बाद ये मतलब पानी खत्म होगा फिर रहने लगे। मतलब 4 दिन बाद जब देखे तो इसको फिर साफ किए थे, मतलब ये भाट को, मतलब फिर मिट्टी उट्टी निकाले फिर रहने लगे थे।
वन विभाग के मुताबिक आपको बता दूं मैं कि अगर उनके साथ कुछ ऐसी घटना हो जाए तब वो अटैकिंग हो जाते हैं यूजुअली।
जी।
कुछ आप लोग की नॉलेज में ऐसा कुछ है?
नहीं, नॉलेज में नहीं है।
आपके गांव में नहीं है?
जी।
The bigger point is what the forest department is going to do to capture or kill those wolves is going to be worth seeing. But this place clearly tells the ordeal also of those wolves, because home is a place where we stay, and if home is taken from us, there is a sense of irritation, anger, and also revenge. With cameraman Neeraj Kumar and Rambaran, Samarth Srivastava for India Today.
Kolkata went dark last night to demand justice for Abhaya. Between 9 and 10 p.m. Wednesday, night lights were switched off as protesters held a candlelight march. Abhaya's parents also joined the protest for the first time. They've made a big claim, alleging that the Kolkata cops tried to bribe them. They've also claimed that they were forced to cremate their daughter in a hurry.
Outrage over RG Car Hospital rape and murder mounts as new allegations come to light. Participating in the protests seeking justice for Abhaya, the parents accused a senior police officer of trying to bribe them after the incident came to light.
আমার মেয়ে দেহ আমার ঘরে সাইজে ছিল তখন ডিসি নট আমাদের ঘরের একটা গলিতে ঢুকে ঘরের ভেতরে তিনি আমাকে টাকা দেওয়ার চেষ্টা করেন
The TMC denied the charge.
যদি তাদেরকে টাকা পয়সা দেয়া হয়েছিল ইত্যাদি পুলিশ দিয়েছিল ধামাচাপা দেওয়ার জন্য এরকম একটা ভিডিও যাচ্ছে তার পাশে আবার আরেকটা ভিডিও এসেছে যেখানে বাবা মারাও এইরকম একটা অভিযোগটাকে অসত্য বললেন এবং তারা বললেন এটা মিথ্যা আমরা কিন্তু আমাদের মেয়ের জন্য একেবারে তাড়াতাড়ি যে মেয়ে আমাদের মধ্যে নেই তার জন্য বিচার চাই
TMC even posted an old video of parents where they call bribe charges a lie.
একটা প্রচার হচ্ছে বিভিন্ন জায়গাতে পুলিশ প্রশাসন থেকে নাকি আপনাদের কোনো আর্থিক টাকা নিয়ে এসে দিয়ে
কে বললো এই কথা
ধামাচাপা
কিভাবে বললো এটা
এইটাই তো হচ্ছে টিভিতে
কিভাবে বললো আমরা আমাদের এই সম্বন্ধে কথা বলার কোনো দরকারই প্রয়োজন কি আছে এমন কোনো ঘটনাই ঘটেনি
ছি
আমরা কাউকে কিছুই বলিনি
তাহলে এটা পুরো সম্পূর্ণ একদম মিথ্যা গল্প
মিথ্যা গল্প বানিয়ে একটা শুরু করেছে
India Today has accessed a letter revealing that the hospital's principal ordered renovations near the site of the crime, fueling suspicions on a calculated cover-up. On Wednesday, anger boiled over as hundreds took to the streets, switching off their lights in a symbolic protest. West Bengal Governor C.V. Ananda Bose joined the protest by switching off Raj Bhavan's lights and lighting a candle in solidarity. In Cooch Behar, violence erupted during the Reclaim the Night protest. Clashes broke out when a protester was allegedly assaulted by Trinamool Congress workers, triggering a police crackdown. Thirteen protesters, including women, have been arrested. Police have been deployed across Cooch Behar to maintain peace. Bureau Report, India Today.
This is where I wrap up the Newstrack tonight. For your time and your trust, thank you very much. I look forward to seeing you at 8 p.m. tomorrow evening. Till then, from all of us here, goodbye, good night.